She bent down to tie her shoe, unaware her whole world was about to change. A splash of dirty water covered her uniform, but what hurt most was the laughter from the tinted car window. She was a cleaner, invisible to most. But this time, someone was watching. Someone who never forgot kindness or cruelty. And that split second of humiliation would set off a chain of events so powerful it would shake the very walls of privilege. All because of one careless moment. It was a gray Monday morning in Riverfall, the kind of day where even the birds sounded tired. Maya Wells pulled her hoodie tighter against the drizzle and hurried across the street. Her bus was late again, and she was already 15 minutes behind for her cleaning shift at the Silver Pine Grand Hotel. She hated being late, not because anyone cared, but because she did. She glanced both ways before stepping off the curb. Just as she reached the sidewalk, a black luxury SUV turned the corner too fast, spraying a wave of cold brown slush right across her front. She gasped, stunned. Her shoes, her skirt, even her face, everything was soaked in mud. The car rolled to a slow stop. For a second, she hoped someone might open the door and apologize. Instead, the back window rolled down just enough to reveal a woman in a designer scarf, sipping coffee. Her nails were perfect, her laugh sharp. "You really should watch where you walk," the woman said with a smirk. Then the window went up, and the SUV sped away, leaving Maya in the street, wet, humiliated, and shaking. She tried to compose herself as people on the sidewalk whispered and stared, but she did not cry. She had no time for tears. Far above, on the top floor of the Silver Pine Grand, Julian Hart, co-owner of Heartstone Properties, watched the whole thing unfold through the hotel's security feed. He had been reviewing routine footage when the image of the mud-soaked girl froze him in place. His voice was quiet. "Who is she?" The assistant beside him blinked. That's Maya. She's part of the housekeeping staff, mostly cleans the East Wing." Julian stared at the screen. The girl did not yell, did not argue. She just stood there, shoulders squared, and walked to the service entrance, dripping with grace that even wealth could not buy. "Pull her file," Julian said. "I want to know more." Meanwhile, in her tiny locker room, Maya stood in front of a cracked mirror, wiping mud off her face with a damp paper towel. Her phone buzzed. A text from her sister. "Still no food. Ty's fever came back. I'll stay home from school." Maya closed her eyes. She had no backup, no parents, just a little sister and a borrowed mattress. She shoved the phone in her pocket and went to work. Her hands shook slightly, but she kept moving, scrubbing the marble floors of the lobby like they were made of gold. The mud was drying on her skin, but she refused to let it stain her pride. Upstairs, Julian kept watching. He rewound the footage again and again. The way Maya looked up at the car, the flicker of pain on her face, the way she pushed forward anyway. And then he made a call. To the Silver Pine front desk. Tell them to quietly reassign Maya Wells to the executive level and do it today. The assistant hesitated. "But sir, she's a cleaner." "Exactly, and it is time someone cleaned up the way we treat people like her." While she was being mocked for her muddy uniform, decisions were already being made in places she could never reach. Yet. The girl no one saw had caught the attention of someone who moved mountains with a single call. But the woman who humiliated her, she was still laughing, unaware that her small act of cruelty had been witnessed by a man powerful enough to change everything. And as the balance of power began to shift, neither of them saw what was coming next. The next morning in Briar City, Maya Wells arrived in a freshly washed uniform, still damp from the radiator she used to dry it overnight. She rubbed her hands for warmth as she clocked in, but before she could head to her usual wing, the head supervisor waved her over. "You're being reassigned," he said curtly, glancing at a clipboard. "Reassigned?" Maya blinked. "To where?" "Executive level, starting today. You'll be reporting to Miss Green upstairs. Better pay, better tips. Do not ask questions, just take the win." He turned on his heel before she could speak. Maya stood there stunned. She had never been to the executive level. Whispers swirled around her as she stepped into the elevator. People watched. Some smiled, some didn't. "Must be nice to know someone," muttered Nina, a senior maid who had been at the hotel for years. "She probably charmed a manager," another added. But Maya kept quiet. She did not understand it either. All she knew was this: she had a little sister to feed, and she was not going to mess this up. Meanwhile, across town, in a glossy studio set decorated in gold and mirrors, Celeste Vaughn sat under hot lights for her morning interview. The show host gushed over her latest handbag line, her luxury travel, her flawless skin. Celeste smiled effortlessly, crossing her long legs and answering with charm. She was a master of appearances. But the moment cameras cut, her voice snapped like glass. "Where is my latte?" she barked at her assistant. "This is cold. Fire whoever brought this." No one dared respond. Celeste's world was built on control and fear, but not for long. That same evening, a black envelope arrived at her office. Inside was a single grainy photo. Her SUV, the puddle, the splash, and the girl frozen mid-step, covered in mud. On the back, written in neat block letters, "Not everyone forgets." Celeste narrowed her eyes. "Who sent this?" Her assistant stammered. "Ma'am, I have no idea." Celeste crushed the photo in her hand, but for the first time in years, something shifted inside her. An unfamiliar tightness in her chest. Doubt. Back at the Hallberg Crown, Maya stepped out of the elevator onto the executive level. The instance was immediate. Fresh orchids on every table, carpet that muffled her footsteps. Silence, except for the soft hum of wealth. She took a breath and got to work, polishing, folding, smiling. She was invisible up here too, but not to everyone. From the corner of the lounge, a man in dark slacks and a gray blazer lowered his newspaper slightly. It was Julian Hart again. No tie this time, just sunglasses and a quiet watchfulness. He watched her work, saw how she helped a guest carry a heavy bag without being asked, how she left fresh towels folded like swans, how she paused to comfort a child having a tantrum. No applause, no praise, but still, she gave her best. Later, as she pushed her cart down the hallway, she found a folded note sitting on top. "Keep shining. The world sees you, even if some pretend not to." She stared at it, puzzled. Her hands trembled slightly as she folded it and tucked it into her pocket. A strange warmth settled in her chest. Someone cared? That night, Julian sat in his office, overlooking the city skyline. The lights below shimmered, but his mind was elsewhere. He remembered his mother, working 2 jobs to raise him, cleaning houses during the day, wiping tables at night. She never asked for help, never asked for more. "Maya Wells," he said softly to himself, "you remind me of her." And while Celeste Vaughn scrolled through her feed in anger, seeing blurry photos of her car reposted with captions like, "Money can't buy manners," Julian smiled quietly, planning his next move.
Maya moved with care through the marble halls of the VIP floor, her polished cart rolling quietly beside her. She was still adjusting to the shift. Better pay, higher standards, more pressure. But she never let it show. Each corner she scrubbed, every vase she dusted, she treated like it mattered. She did not know why she had been chosen, but she refused to disappoint whoever believed in her. Unbeknownst to her, Julian Hart had returned to the hotel again, dressed simply and carrying a newspaper he never read. He watched from the lounge as Maya gently helped an elderly guest carry her bags. She never looked for thanks. Her kindness was effortless, and her smile, though small, was real. Later that evening, as Maya cleaned the private library, she heard a voice behind her. "No cleaning today," Julian said gently. She turned, startled. "Sir?" "I just wanted to say thank you. You helped me the other day." Your kindness stayed with me." She hesitated, still unsure why this guest kept appearing near her. "I was just doing my job." Julian gave a soft smile. "You do more than that. You bring grace to this place." Maya looked down, her cheeks warm. "I suppose I just tried to make it a little better than I found it." They spoke for a few minutes more, mostly small things. Julian never revealed who he really was. When Maya left, he remained seated, thinking about every word. But not everyone appreciated Maya's rise. Tina, a senior cleaner with years at the Holleberg Crown, seethed with quiet bitterness. "She just got here," she hissed to a coworker. "Now she's on the VIP floor, must have done something." The whispers grew darker. That evening, Tina snuck into the supply closet and replaced Maya's cleaning solution with a slippery chemical used only for floor stripping, dangerous if misused. The next morning, a guest slipped near the East Wing elevators. "Who cleaned this section last?" the manager barked. All eyes turned to Maya. She was called into the office, face pale, hands shaking. "I only used what was in my assigned cart. I would never." But no one listened. A formal warning was issued. One more mistake, they said, and her position would be reevaluated. Maya left the office, blinking back tears. She felt the floor falling beneath her. It all felt too fast, too fragile. But someone had been watching. Julian had requested the security feed. What he saw confirmed everything. Tina switching bottles, deliberate, malicious. The footage was sent directly to the hotel manager. Within an hour, Maya was cleared. "I owe you an apology," the manager said to her personally. "It was not your fault. You are reinstated, fully." Maya stood stunned. "Thank you, truly." She returned to her work, grateful but still shaken. From a distance, Julian watched. "She does not even know I saved her, but I will tell her one day." Elsewhere in the city, Celeste Vaughn stared at her phone in disbelief. A photo of her SUV splashing mud on a cleaner had gone viral. The caption read, "Some people think manners erase money." Hundreds of reposts, thousands of likes. No one saw her face, but people were guessing. Her assistant stood nearby, silent. Celeste hissed, "Who is doing this? Is someone trying to ruin me?" "Maybe," her assistant whispered. "Someone is just holding up a mirror." Celeste turned away, but a shadow of doubt followed her. Back at the hotel, Maya discovered a bouquet of fresh lilies in her locker. No note, just the gentle scent of someone who saw her. She held the flowers close, not knowing where this path was leading. Only that, for the first time, it felt like someone powerful was quietly helping her rise. That evening, Julian walked Maya home for the first time. The sun had just begun to set behind the rooftops of Briar City, casting everything in soft gold. Maya's fingers curled around the acceptance letter in her coat pocket, like it might disappear if she let go. When they reached the small gate to her apartment building, a little girl ran outside in socked feet, squealing with joy. "Olivia!" Maya said, kneeling to catch her. Julian watched as Maya scooped the child into her arms, kissing her cheek like a mother would. "You never said you had a daughter," he said softly. Maya hesitated. "She's my sister. Our mom passed when Olivia was just a baby. I have raised her since then." Julian's eyes didn't blink. "How old were you?" 14. She looked away, ashamed. "Some days I worked here until 2 a.m., then helped her with homework, fed her, bathed her. I never told anyone. I was afraid they'd take her away." Julian's face broke with something she had not seen before. Reverence. "Maya," he whispered. "She is the reason I stayed quiet that day in the parking lot. She is the reason I keep going." Julian bent down to Olivia's level. "Do you know your sister is a superhero?" Olivia giggled. "I know! She makes the best rice, too!" Maya laughed through the tears forming in her eyes. Julian reached into his coat pocket and handed Maya a small envelope. Inside was a handwritten note. It read, "To the strongest woman I have ever met. The world may never give you what you deserve, so let me be the first." She looked up, eyes glassy. "Why are you doing this?" Julian's voice cracked. "Because when I was a boy, I cried on my first day of school. My mother wore a cleaner's uniform just like yours. She came on her lunch break, held my hand, and told me everything would be okay. I never forgot that. I watched you with Olivia and I saw her again, and I promised myself the next time I see a woman like her, I would not walk past." Maya could not hold it back any longer. Tears ran down her cheeks. She turned away to hide them, but Julian stepped closer, gently brushing one away with his thumb. Then, quietly, he said, "You saved your sister, and somehow you saved me too." The city lights flickered on behind them. Olivia had fallen asleep on Maya's shoulder, and for once, the world was quiet, still, safe. Maya whispered, more to herself than to him, "Maybe we really are allowed to be happy." Julian smiled through his own tears. "You are, and I will make sure of it." As he walked away into the twilight, Maya stood on the steps holding her sleeping sister, one arm around her future, the other around her past. And for the first time in years, she finally let herself cry. But this time, it was not from pain, it was from peace.